Hey everyone, Lisa Haverly here with Rainbow Tree Therapies. I recently posted on Instagram and it was a post that talked about dysregulation and I had a question about that. So I thought I would post a video on YouTube to explain it more. So when I say dysregulation, that's really the opposite of regulation, and dysregulation often shows up in a child's behavior. That we will see a behavior that does not match what is expected, or there's a behavior that's interfering with them being able to participate, do the things they need and want to do to meet expectation. And so we call that dysregulation. I think what is tricky for sometimes is that people will see a behavior and they assume that the child is choosing the behavior and that in some way the behavior is willful. And so I'm really here to invite people to be more curious about the behavior and start asking questions like, why? Why are they acting that way? What is hard for them? What's happening for them? What is leading up to them having to behave this way? That requires so much of my energy as the parent or the support person to get them back on track. Okay. And so, you can think of dysregulation being they have too much energy in the body, so much energy they can't attend, or maybe not enough energy in their body. That might look like not being able to have good attention. Or maybe they're flitting around, or they're eloping or bolting away. That could be what's happening. There's so many reasons why a child might be dysregulated, but sometimes it's not being able to cultivate the right amount of energy to do the task. Other times we think of big emotions that might get in the way, that they don't yet have the skills to manage their emotions, and their emotions just flood their nervous system and they don't yet know how to cope. So they need help in learning how to cope. And in fact, telling them just to calm down will likely be futile, because if they don't have the skills to calm down, they won't be able to. And other things, you think about how when a baby is crying and all the different things we go through in our head, the checklist, are they hungry? Are they tired? Do they need to be changed? Is their tummy hurting? But that doesn't necessarily go away with older children. You've heard the term hangry. So maybe a child is hungry. Maybe they didn't sleep well. Maybe they chronically don't sleep well, and how that will impact their ability to learn, to participate, to even manage their emotions. If a child doesn't feel well, or they have GI issues, those are yet more reasons that a child might show a behavior or be what we call dysregulated. And so there's a lot to unpack with behavior. And behavior becomes a concern when we are seeing behaviors that don't necessarily match their chronological age. Because we know that young children have a lot to learn about managing their behavior and their emotions. So it becomes a concern as they get older and they are still struggling with that regulation piece. And that's when it's usually time to reach out to maybe somebody for help, which you could reach out to us here at Rainbow Tree Therapies if you have some questions or you're curious about what's happening for my child. And sometimes it's a lagging skill, sometimes there's an unmet need, and so it really takes understanding what's driving the behavior. So check out that Instagram post on dysregulation, because supporting a child to move toward regulation or balance or calm requires a supportive environment, requires likely a co-regulated adult, requires physiological health, requires a system that has the capacity, the skill set to be able to move towards regulation. So check it out. You can comment below. If you have additional questions, I'm happy to answer them. I hope this was helpful in further explaining dysregulation.